Xbox Game Pass, we're going to be going over the entire library of games. It's a lot of work, so be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well, and if you are subscribing to Xbox Game Pass and or buying it, be sure to use the affiliate link in the video description. It takes you to the Microsoft website, and I get a percentage, which is great. And yeah, we do this every couple months or so, so let's dive in and talk about literally every game that you should check out on Game Pass. So first up, Alan Wake's American Nightmare. If you've played Alan Wake, this continues the events of that. It's a fun standalone story. It's actually pretty good and very, very creative in its handling. Alice Madness Returns, which actually includes both Alice games. It's a grim, dark 3D platformer, and I should mention that some of these titles that are available through EA Play and the like will require you to have Game Pass Ultimate, so just keep that in mind. And those with the cloud icon are things that you can play through Xbox Cloud Gaming. Yeah, but Alice Madness Returns, dark, grim, creepy, crazy, actually a really good 3D platformer. Alien Isolation, first-person intense horror where you try to deal with aliens and androids, all kinds of bad stuff. Aliens Fireteam Elite, it's kind of like a Left 4 Dead-esque experience where you're mowing down squads of aliens, which is kind of fun. Then we have the Anacrusis, another Left 4 Dead-esque game and game preview, but you're on a cruise ship fighting weird alien monsters. Among Us, who's sus, who isn't? Find out in this party game that lots and lots of people, I think, still love at this point. Ark Survivor Edition. So this has like a bunch of maps, it's open world, it's a multiplayer focus, but you can play it by yourself too. Dinosaur and or other giant monster taming survival game. As Dusk Falls is actually kind of interesting if you want a narrative-only game where you're lightly interacting with it and making story-branching changes and choices. As Dusk Falls is kind of interesting. The Ascent, cyberpunk, kind of twin-stick shooter kind of game. It's fun, got some RPG-like mechanics, it's not bad. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's massive, it's insanely large. I do suggest going with Cassandra. She is definitely the better of the two characters in regards to the acting and the performance. But yeah, absolutely massive RPG-esque focused Assassin's Creed. Origins is the title that came before Odyssey. It's also quite large, takes place in ancient Egypt. I actually prefer Origins, but you know, they're both very, very good, expansive games. Odyssey is really, really massive though. Back 4 Blood. It's like Left 4 Dead 3 and all but the name. Seriously, go fight some zombies, play some co-op, it's a good time. Got your Banjo-Kazooies, obviously very classic 3D platformers, nuts and bolts, a bit weird, a bit different. A Bard's Tale, so it's actually kind of funny and a bit weird, sort of classic first-party titles. You know, ARPG Resnarkled might be your go-to. You might find that interesting. If you like fishing, you know, Bassmaster Fishing. We still have Batman Arkham Knight, which is a Batman experience where you go around in an open world area using the Batmobile and fighting crime. Then you got your Battlefields. So you can still find some matches in Battlefield 3. You can find matches always in Battlefield 4, 1, and 5. There's usually a match or two of Hardline, and if you're lucky, Bad Company 2 and 1 actually will have rotating matches as well. Story-wise, I would say the Bad Company games have really good story content. And other than that, yeah, a little bit different Battlefields. Battletoads. That's actually a pretty good brawler. The little arcade minigames aren't the best, but yeah, Battletoads is kind of cool. Beacon Pines is another really interesting narrative-driven experience where you are making choices and you're kind of changing the narrative direction of a book being told. It's actually quite cool. Black is a classic shooter. It's actually pretty good. Black Desert is an MMORPG that is actually quite a blast to play. It's a bit grindy, I would say, but it's pretty expansive and actually offers a lot of content for you to dive into. Besiege, making siege weapons. That's literally what it is, and then you siege things. Blinks, a classic. I don't know if I would suggest Blinks, but it's a weird game. Broken Age is actually a really well done adventure game, like a point and click where you've got two perspectives, great voice acting performances, very, very good. City Skylines, the successor to, well, SimCity, build huge cities, and yeah, that's great. Shorvis, where you are flying a ship and you are blasting things, that's not too bad. Bugsnax, whoa, 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 it's Bugsnax. This adventure game is a blast. catch bug snacks, figure out the mystery. It's wild. Burnout Paradise Remastered, considered a bit of a classic modern racing title with destruction focus. It's neat. Brutal Legend, it's a very funny sort of adult, almost borderline-esque game with Jack Black in it, and you're kind of controlling armies to a degree. Like it's a bit odd, but it's interesting. Conan Exiles is basically Ark, but Conan-esque, a little bit more mature, open world, desert, survival, all that kind of stuff. Contrast is a quick little game that you get like a full 1,000 gamer score in about an hour or so. It's kind of BioShock a little bit influenced by. It's from the people that, it's a part of the first party now, which is kind of interesting. We have Crossfire X's campaign. The actual multiplayer, though, is free to play, and it's kind of a Counter-Strike type of experience shooter. Crimson Skies, if you like dogfighting, if you like planes, Crimson Skies is a classic first-party title that's a blast. Crackdown 3, honestly, not a bad game. Not anything too spectacular, but it's a fine game if you want to make explosions and blow things up. Cooking Simulator. You cook. It's hilarious. It never goes well, but you do cook. Crusader Kings 3, this is where you are creating a simulation of all these different crown-type scenarios. It is insanely in-depth, and it's actually a really, really cool title. If you like the Danganronpa series, it's got like a whole bunch of them. Dantes Inferno, kind of a little bit like a God of War type game, like the old school God of Wars, hack and slash. It's actually not too bad. Day of the Tentacle Remastered, an all-time classic point-and-click adventure game. Seriously, it's an absolute classic. DayZ, open world zombie survival where the real threat is the other players. It continues to get updated, expanded upon, and it is super well loved. Then you got your Dead Spaces. Keep in mind Dead Space is getting reimagined, remade soon, so you might want to wait for that. But Dead Space 2 and 3, they're not bad. Pretty fun. Dead Space 2 is actually considered pretty spectacular. Dead Cells is a really good roguelike experience where you actually feel like you're getting rewarded. It's gorgeous, it's fun, it's visceral, it's awesome. Dead by Daylight, a 4v1. It's an asymmetrical multiplayer-focused experience. The survivors are trying to get generators done to escape, and the killer's trying to kill them. Death's Door. A lot of people absolutely love this little, I guess you would say, roguelike experience. A lot of fun, very well done, very neat. Deathloop. The first party comes home after a year of PlayStation exclusivity. Dive into Deathloop. You are trying to break the loop by shooting and killing things and executing a perfect plan, where Juliana's trying to kill you. Deep Rock Galactic. Now actually optimized for next gen too. Work together as a group of dwarves as you mine, battle, and, grind through tons of bugs. And we've got Destroy All Humans Remake, which is a very, very good recreation of the original Destroy All Humans. It's a lot of fun. It's a good little story thing. It's neat. We are losing, I believe Dirt 4 and Dirt Rally are going away soon, but Dirt 5 is absolutely spectacular. It's very, very good. Highly recommend Dirt 5. I think it's a good time. And Dirt Rally, if you like rally-based racing, Dirt Rally 2.0 is pretty awesome. For the kids, Disneyland Adventures, you basically just go around Disneyland playing minigames and interacting with Disney characters. Disney Dreamlight Valley, aka Disney Animal Crossing, you kind of do this dreamlike state of kind of meeting all these different Disney characters and doing things like cooking or collecting items. It's a busy work game, but it offers a lot, and I mean a lot to do, and it's in game preview, so it's going to continue to get updated. We've got the Dishonored series, Dishonored 1 and 2, highly, highly recommend. Somewhat BioShock-like, but very much its own sort of thing as well, stealth-influenced if you like to play that way, and if you like the games a lot, Death of the Outsider is a neat little spin-off that continues from bits of Dishonored 2. Donut County. Kind of a cute little indie thing where you move around this hole, and as you eat things, the hole becomes larger. It's actually pretty fun. You got your Dooms. Okay, so Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal are the modern Dooms. Very, very good. Very, very well done. And you got your classics. Doom 1, Doom 2, Doom 64. So if you want some old school shooters, that's the way to go. And then Doom 3 is considered one of the best horror titles. It's a little bit different from all of the other Doom games, and it's really, really good. Highly, highly recommend. You got your Dragon Ages, great RPG, in-depth games. They offer a lot. JRPG, Dragon Quest. And if you want a building type experience, Dragon Quest Builders 2. kind of a spin-off series. And we've got Morrowind and Skyrim. So Morrowind hasn't held up the best. There's also Oblivion, but I think it's down further due to the naming. Obviously, Skyrim is one of the biggest and best RPGs ever created with mod support, and it's an adventure that will take you forever. We also have The Elder Scrolls Online. It's an MMORPG take on Skyrim and or the Elder Scrolls franchise in general. Definitely heavily influenced by Skyrim, though, gameplay mechanics-wise, but play with lots of others online. It's getting new updates every single year. The Elder Scrolls Online is awesome. Ember, firefighting game. Kind of fun, kind of quirky. Work together, work alone. Escape Academy. Played alone, or, well, it's kind of best played with someone else as you try to escape. It's a bunch of escape rooms, so it's like puzzle solving. It's kind of neat. Evil Within and Evil Within 2, very good horror titles, part of the first party. They're very psychologically driven and pretty messed up. You got your Fables. I personally think each of the Fable games is worth playing. Fable 2 is considered the best, but all three of them are very, very good games. Then you got your Fallouts, Fallout 3, 4, 76, and New Vegas. Everybody loves New Vegas. Fallout 3 is a classic. Fallout 4 is my favorite. You get to do building stuff alongside all the other things, but you can't go wrong with any of the options. And you know what? Fallout 76 has actually really been turned around. There's lots of good story content there. The pit is terrible. Honestly, the pit was awful. But like the story content that preceded it, very, very good. Far Cry 5, great open world shooter, lots of blasting, lots of action. Very, very good title. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Far Changing Tides, kind of a moody, neat, sort of narrative-driven, I guess you would say, platforming type game. Farming Sim 22, farm, and live the farming life. Feeding Frenzy, classic franchise, eat other fish to get larger. It's actually a really adorable, fun franchise. You got your FIFAs, FIFA 22, but we've got FIFA 23 with a 10-hour trial. Fight Night Champion, the last great boxing game. We got your Final Fantasy 13 series. I think one of them is gone. I don't know. There's three of them that are part of the trilogy. This is the second part, and then there's Lightning Returns as the third part. I think the first part got removed, though. Firewatch, if you want a good story-driven mystery type thing, don't look it up, but play it. It's kind of cool. It's a few hours. It's an enjoyable experience. Then we've got the Forza series, so Forza Horizon 4 and 5. I think 4 might be disappearing soonish, so keep that in mind. But they are incredible open-world racing games, best of basically the entire genre. Highly recommend both of them in their own unique ways. The Forgotten City. If you like The Elder Scrolls, but you want to play something that's 100% focused on story and social or political type intrigue, you try to figure out who's breaking the golden rule. It's really, really good. Seriously, it is fantastic. For Honor, if you like to do night combat, that's kind of interesting. A lot of people like that one. Frostpunk is kind of a neat survival RTS-like management type game. Full Throttle Remastered, considered one of the all-time classic point-and-click adventure games, similar to Day of the Tentacle. Fusion Frenzy. I don't know if I necessarily recommend it in the modern era, but it's a fun party minigame series. Then we've got our Gears franchise. Lots of Gears games. So I recommend doing Gears Ultimate Edition, which is a upgraded version of Gears 1. So Gears Ultimate Edition, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you like Cole and Baird, Judgment has an okay story to it. I actually kind of think the story is fine. And if you like XCOM turn-based combat Gears Tactics, pretty good. Genesis Noir is a very artsy, creative game. You might find that one to be interesting. Goat Sim, get ready for the next Goat Sim. It's Goat Sim. You go around as a goat causing mayhem. Grid Legends is really, really good. Grid's okay too, but Grid Legends I highly recommend. It's a good next-gen game. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. Support it. It's great. Golf with your friends. Mini golf. Yep, you mini golf together. It's ridiculous. It's wacky. It's kind of cool. Grim Fandango Remastered, considering one of the all-time great games. Seriously, of like all-time. Another one of those point-and-click adventure type games. Pretty cool. Grounded just fully released. Grounded 1.0 is now available. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids type survival game. Grind, fight, survive, and try to build in the backyard and try to get large again. The Gunk. Sucking, blowing, and everything in between. The Gunk is a fun little quick story game that's very easygoing. It's got a little bit of mystery to it. It's an okay, easy, quick play. Now you got your Halos. So Halo MCC is a must-play. It is the best Halo games, 1 through 4, plus ODST, plus Reach. And all the multiplayer together in one package. So you can do, the stories there, and then if you want more Halo in the modern era, we've got 5, and then Infinite comes after 5. And then if you want real-time strategy games, Halo Wars and Halo Wars 2, kind of Age of Empires-esque, pretty good. Shipbreaker is actually kind of a pretty calming, break apart ships, so it's pretty, if you want something laid back, that one is kind of your go-to. House Flipper, you go and you renovate houses. It's a little silly, a little quirky, but I think a lot of people like it. Hollow Knight, a lot of people love Hollow Knight. It's a really intense, I think I want to say Metroidvania-esque title. The Hitman Trilogy, all upgraded, all together in one package, tons of maps, crazy opportunities, wild Agent 47 action. It is a perfect set of games, a must-play package for if you want stealth play or even just crazy moments. Hitman Trilogy is great. Hellblade's newest sacrifice. Get ready for the second Hellblade. In this game I call ASMR the video game. Pop on some headphones and go on a crazy story-driven experience that's just a blast. Now, Immortality. I haven't really had time to play this one yet, but it is one of those FOV type, so it's basically like a footage game where you interact and you try to figure out what happened. I think it's still the highest reviewed game of the year, and I'd have to recommend it on that account. It's still something I have to find time for, though, personally. Immortals Phoenix Rising. If you like Breath of the Wild, if you like the Ubisoft open world games, this is a mythology-based open world game. Some of the puzzle things are a little annoying and tiresome, but it's very beautiful and it's pretty expansive and at times quite funny. Injustice 2. It's like Mortal Kombat, but, DC characters. Inside, which is a fantastic, moody, narrative-driven platforming game. Very, very good. Into the Pit, kind of a cool little roguelite shooter with magic. Cameo, a first-party gem. It's fully upgraded on the Series X, which makes it look beautiful and run really high fluidity-wise. It's kind of quirky, it's kind of weird, it's neat. Just Cause 4. It's an okay game if you want explosions and crazy action. It's fine. Jurassic World Evolution 2. Build the Jurassic Park or Jurassic World area of your dreams. Go nuts. It Takes Two. It was a game of the year kind of thing for me. It was a great game that you have to play in co-op, literally you have to. And it's a great narrative-driven adventure and journey. It's quite cool. It's very, very cool. Killer Instinct. Combo Breaker. It's the first-party fighting game. It's actually really good. Huge roster of characters. Support it, play it. I want a new Killer Instinct. Lake's supposed to be a neat little adventure game where you kind of go around in this really laid-back experience. If you got a kid that's a fan of The Last Kids on Earth, it's kind of a fun little twin-stick kind of game. You play it in a few hours. It's pretty enjoyable. We've got, that's the Lightning. That's the last one of the Lightning series. Life is Strange True Colors. Actually a pretty good standalone Life is Strange story game where she's able to see the emotions of others, and again, it's actually well done. Let's Build a Zoo. This game is fantastic. You build a zoo, you can do animal splicing. If you've ever liked Zoo Tycoon, this is kind of it in the modern era. Really, really good. The Long Dark, Canadian survival game, kind of cool, kind of neat. Lost in Random is sort of, if you like the Alice game, this is kind of along those vibes, but it's like the dice are certain power things, kind of neat. Got your Maddens, keep in mind Madden 23, there's a 10-hour trial available. You got your Mass Effects, skip the original 3, just play Mass Effect Legendary Edition because it's all 3 of those games upgraded beautifully, all in one cohesive package, so good. Guardians of the Galaxy, game of the year for me. It's fantastic. It's a blast. Well, for the last year. Beautiful story, very well done characters, funny, engaging, great music. It's a must play. Marvel's Avengers, if you're playing just the story, it's pretty beautiful, and it's actually a pretty good story. Maneater, it's like a shark RPG game. Pretty good, a lot of fun. It's like Feeding Frenzy on steroids. Tennis, Matchpoint Tennis, it's okay. We've got Flight Sim, which is literally the entire world that you can fly through. And it just got a Canada update, which is awesome, because I'm from Canada. So, yeah. Middle-earth Shadow of War, it's kind of like a crazy, over-the-top Assassin's Creed type thing with a Nemesis system. It's expansive, and you can kind of play it forever. Midnight Fight Express is so good. It's like John Wick the video game. You just go around room to room smashing, breaking, and going through anyone that's in your way. It's really good. MLB The Show 22, the latest baseball game. I'm assuming we're going to get 23 as well when that comes out down the road, but for now, we've got 22. The two Mirror's Edges games, intense 3D platforming type parkour stuff. Yeah, they're not bad. Minecraft. I'm pretty sure regular Minecraft's here too. So you don't have to get preview. But Minecraft, obviously, one of the biggest games ever. Explore, survive, craft, all that stuff. Minecraft Dungeons. It's Minecraft, but in a Diablo type of format. It's really accessible, and it's actually really, really good. If you like an intense Metroidvania meets Dark Souls, Moonscars might be for you. Mortal Kombat 11, the latest entry in this brutal brawling franchise. Lots of people love it. If you like Dark Souls, Mortal Shell, a little bit more of an indie take, might be for you. Naraka Blade Point is a battle royale with a focus on melee-based combat and attacks. My Time at Portia. Kind of Animal Crossing, kind of more Harvest Moon, come down the middle. It's actually a pretty cool little quaint experience. My friend Peppa Pig, my colleague. If you have a kid that loves Peppa Pig, you're basically playing a episode of the series. Then we've got Need for Speed Heat. It's not too bad. Open world racing. Hot Pursuit's considered one of the best of the franchise. Remastered, it's very, very good. Neon Abyss is an alright roguelike. I'm actually surprised they keep updating it, so good for them. New Super Lucky's Tale is a cutesy, fun 3D platformer. A little bit of grinding for getting stuff later on, but, it's Mario-like. And your NHLs. 23 will have a 10-hour trial when that comes. The Ninja Gaiden Collection. So if you want these ones upgraded, just keep in mind some of them aren't the, super gory versions. Oh, and Ni no Kuni is a very, very classic JRPG game with Studio Ghibli, done animations. It's actually beautiful, and I think a lot of people would like it. No Man's Sky, open world or open planet or open galaxy survival. Get a ship and explore. Octopath Traveler, a really beautiful throwback JRPG with multiple perspectives. You can play the game forever. As mentioned earlier, Oblivion, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, which is upgraded for Series X and S quite beautifully. It's a really good high fantasy RPG, and I think it's fantastic. And we've got Ori and the Blind Forest, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. If you want Metroidvania-esque platforming games with a beautiful story, those two are your ways to go, but they might frustrate you a bit. PacMan Museum, if you want Pac-Man, that's a lot of Pac-Man in one Pac-Man collection. Go nuts. Overcooked 2, if you want to get mad at each other, play cooperative cooking. Overcooked 2 is a real blast in that regard. It's quite challenging, too. Outriders, really decent, solid, fun kind of RPG game where you're shooting your way through all these crazy, messed up places on this planet. It starts off easygoing and fun, and then everything goes and mayhem is caused. The Outer Worlds, if you like Fallout, it's Fallout in space. With a hilarious story plot, a sequel on the way, The Outer Worlds is a really good RPG with choices, action, and it respects your time. It doesn't take forever. Outer Wilds, I think, just got next-gen updated. It's a game where you need to beat the clock and beat the time. If you got kids, Paw Patrol. Right? Lots of Paw Patrol. Pangle, delightfully charming and lovely. The Perfect Dark games, get ready for the reboot, play the classics. Perfect Dark 1 is an absolutely perfect shooter game, so definitely worth diving into. If you are getting ready for Avowed, Pillars of Eternity is the same universe, but these are more hardcore RPG, traditional RPG games, so keep that in mind. The Garden Warfare series is like Battlefield for kids. Garden Warfare 2 is still definitely the most played. I think Battle for Neighborville is okay, even though it's the newer one. I think Garden Warfare 2 is the most loved, so they're actually pretty good shooters. Psychonauts and Psychonauts 2. You can just play Psychonauts 2. Great 3D platformer. Almost my game of the year. Super, super good. Highly, highly recommend the story. Power washing. Because power washing is a beautiful thing. Prey is a really good psychological based story game. It's pretty messed up. It's first party. It's very, very neat. Proteus is awesome. So it's like basically if they were making Doom and they were making it for the first time today, Proteus is like that. Custom maps, multiplayer combat. It's so good. If you want to take pictures of dogs, paparazzi. Quake Remastered. If you liked the classic Quake, this is Quake with multiplayer, co-op, campaigns, tons of content added to it all the time. It's amazing. Quantum Break is from, well, if you liked Alan Wake or you like Control, Quantum Break is from Remedy. It's actually a really neat story branching to a degree game where you make choices, and I actually really like this one, and I feel more people should check it out. Rage 1, Rage 2. Get angry, open world shooter games. Rage 2 is a little bit more open world than Rage 1. They're wild, they're crazy, they're okay, they're fun. Rare Replay. 30 classic Rare games with one more on the way with Bond GoldenEye coming. But yeah, Rare Replay has a lot of great stuff in it. And then Recore Definitive Edition, another first-party title. It's a platformer with color-based combat. The story is actually pretty good. Some of the dungeons at the end, kind of a pain, but I wish we would get a sequel, honestly. I really would. Jewel and the Robots are a lot of fun. Research and Destroy is kind of a neat live turn-based sort of shooter thing. It's really quirky and weird. Might be for you, might not be for you. Again, another one for the kids. Rush, a Pixar adventure. That might find that interesting. Road 96 is a really, really intense story-driven kind of escape across the country. It's actually really neat, and I had a lot of fun playing that one. Riftbreaker, it's a so-so twin-stick shooter type thing. You might find that one cool. Rise, Son of Rome, another first-party title. You are a Centurion. It's got a great story. It's melee-based combat. It's actually pretty good, and I think a little underrated. Scarlet Nexus, JRPG with two perspectives, so you can play a lot of the gameplay and enjoy a lot of the action. It's something I would definitely say is good and an enjoyable experience if you like more traditional JRPGs. Sea of Thieves, live the pirate life. That's right. Get some cooperative pirate action in there, play with friends. It's a good time. Shadowrun. So for whatever reason, Shadowrun 2007 isn't here. It drives me nuts, but we've got Shadowrun Returns, the Director's Cut, and Extended Edition. They are very similar classic RPG-focused games with choices, different stories, so you can jump into any of them. And I do think it's a good franchise. Serious Sam 4, blow things up, cause mayhem, shoot your way through all kinds of stuff, crazy large hordes, go nuts. Secret Neighbor, another one for the kids. It's like Dead by Daylight, but again for the kids, where it's like an asymmetrical multiplayer game. Second Extinction, which I believe is fully releasing soon, cooperative shooting dinos and stuff. It's kind of nuts. Shredders is an okay snowboarding game. The Sims 4, which I believe is going free to play soon, so it might be out of here. Live the ultimate life that's better than the life you're living. Ha! And the Skate franchise, we got Skate 1, we got Skate 3. A lot of people love Skate 3 the most, so go skateboarding, go nuts. Get ready for the new one. Slime Rancher is leaving, so Slime Rancher 2 is here. Collect slimes, farm slimes, enjoy the adventure of sliming. If you haven't played Slime Rancher 1, though, seriously jump in that before it's too late, but both very charming games. Sniper Elites 4 and 5. So, both separate good campaigns, both great games. Sniper Elite 5 is the newer one. Both are worth playing. 4 is the Italian campaign. 5 is the French campaign. Highly recommend both of them. We've got Jedi Fallen Order. Get ready for the sequel. That's coming soon. Intense Dark Souls-esque Star Wars game. Then you got your Battlefronts. Battlefront 2 is the one worth playing. It's got a story, and it's still got live servers with people shooting and playing each other across all the eras of Star Wars. If you like to fly, you want to do some Star Wars dogfighting, Squadrons is the way to go. Stardew Valley. It's basically the successor to, I guess you would say, Harvest Moon. Farm, build, and create the place of your dreams. And then we got the State of Decay game. State of Decay 2, I think, is still getting some content updates. It's a zombie management survival game. Both are kind of separate and worth playing in their own ways. But I would recommend diving into 2 because it has a lot to offer. Then we got Stellaris, which is kind of like Civilization, but in space. It's, I think it's like 4 times or 8 times strategy type game. One of the two. I think it's 4 times. Anyways. Yeah, pretty cool. Subnautica, I believe we're losing the Subnautica titles. But, if you want to jump in before they're gone, or they might be gone already, dive in Below the Sea and have a great time. Sunset Overdrive, a first-party title that is an absolute blast. It's crazy, it's funny, it's wacky, it's open-world action. Highly recommend it. Sucks that we'll never get a sequel. If you like more baseball, Super Mega Baseball 3 has a lot of customization options. Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. So TMNT, Shredder's Revenge, is a perfect successor and brawler to the original Turtles games, to Turtles in Time. Really, really good. Highly, highly recommend. Play it alone, play it with others locally, or play it with others online. It's good. This War of Mine is a pretty neat sort of like war simulation, choice-driven game. Try to survive. It's very harsh and hostile. The Hunter Call of the Wild. If you want to go hunting, this is the ultimate hunting game. It offers a lot. Tetris Effect Connected. You might think Tetris, what? No, Tetris Effect is amazing. It's colorful, it's vibrant, it's zen, it's awesome. Terraria, Minecraft but 2D. People get mad at that. Whatever. That's what Terraria is. And I think it just got like a love update because it's like reaching the end of its updates, but it has been really, really supported over a huge amount of time. If you like Life is Strange, Tell Me Why is not quite as good, but it's an okay narrative-driven story game. Tinykin is so lovely and so fun. It's Pikmin, it's 3D platforming. It is a delightfully charming title that I think is a must-play. Titanfall 2. You know, you want a great story between a pilot and its mech. It really is a delightful time. Titanfall 2 has got a really, really good story. If you like sieging, Rainbow Six Siege continues to go strong. I think the game kind of sells itself. A spin-off is Extraction, which was okay. We got Ghost Recon Wildlands, which is a really, really good open-world cooperative-focused shooter where you are trying to, work together to get all these lands and everything done. It's massive. It is a big, big game. We got Train Sim World 3 if you want to manage trains, and Tabs if you want to do some crazy battle simulations. Trek to Yomi is kind of a little bit of a hardcore 2D side-scrolling combat game. Tropico 6, you want to manage, do a dictatorship management? That's Tropico 6. Yeah, it's the newest one, I believe. And then we've got Turbo Golf Racing is like Rocket League, but with golfing. It's actually not bad. 2 Point Campus is a really fun campus management game where you are enjoying the laughs, building up a bunch of academies, and just having a hilarious time with it. And if you like UFC 4, we've got Unpacking is actually kind of a neat story of life through different moving scenarios, so you might find Unpacking good. Unravel 1 and Unravel 2 are delightfully charming, but kind of hardcore platforming games with a lovely, intensive story behind them. Viva Pinata. Trouble in Paradise is the one to go for. It's a, pinata farming type. Well, not pinata farming. It's like you build a garden and you manage all of these pinatas. It's actually a blast. You got your Walking Deads. We got Walking Dead Season 1, Season 2, the 3rd season. I believe the 4th season's coming as well. And then you've got, if you like it a lot, the Michonne spinoff. It's okay. Then we got the Wasteland games. So Wasteland Remastered, Classic. Wasteland 3 is a phenomenal, modern, hardcore sort of RPG role-playing game. Highly, highly recommend. And their first-party games. Watch Dogs 2. Open world San Francisco-esque experience where you are hacking and enjoying the hip action. A Way Out. You have to play it together in co-op. You are escaping from jail. We Happy Few. First party BioShock infused experience where things are, we're trying to keep things happy. That's kind of how that goes. Weird West was actually a pretty fun old school throwback RPG game. I actually quite like that one. Quirky stories, quirky characters, very weird. Then you got your Wolfensteins. So, Wolfenstein is a great new franchise at this point that's been completely upgraded and revitalized. I would recommend playing... Well, there's the New Order. The Old Blood is a prequel to the New Order, but I think it makes more sense to play the New Order than do the prequel, the Old Blood, because then it kind of ties together. You can go either way. Then there's Wolfenstein 2, and then there's Youngblood that continues the events afterwards. Kind of a fun co-op focused entry. I feel people are too hard on it. Worms, classic, turn-based Worms action. Great game, very, very well done. Wreckfest, if you want to see cars get smashed, broken, and damaged, Wreckfest is the way to go. And returning to Game Pass, we've got the Yakuza franchise. We've got Yakuza 0, the prequel. We've got Yakuza Kiwami, which is the first one. Then Kiwami 2, which is the second one. Then you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, and Like a Dragon. Great series, seriously. Zoo Tycoon, what are you, too good to take care of animals in Zoo Tycoon? Zombie Army 4, good cooperative-focused Left 4 Dead-esque zombie game. It's actually pretty expansive, very, very well done. And you know what? You suck at parking. It's kind of a funny little multiplayer sort of focused game where you try to park cars. And again, this was a lot of work to do, so be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. And once again, if you are joining Game Pass, consider using that affiliate link in the video description.